It's 8:30. So I would like to call to order the Las Virgenes-Malibu Council of Government Governing Board meeting. This is Tuesday, November 18th. Okay.
October.
Excuse me, October 18th. Sorry. We're not quite at the end yet. All right, a roll call, please, Terry.
Eniko Gold,
Here.
Dennis Weber,
Here.
Kelly Honig,
Here.
Alicia Weintraub,
Here.
President Fair.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Okay, thank you. All right, do we have a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Eniko Gold,
Aye.
Dennis Weber,
Aye.
Kelly Honig,
Aye.
Alicia Weintraub,
Aye.
President Fair.
Aye,
Motion carries unanimously.
thank you. Do we have any public comments, Terry?
I have not received anything either by phone or email, but I'm not sure if anybody that's on is there anybody that wants to make public comments? I think we're good.
Okay, thank you. Okay, the consent calendar. Do we have a motion to approve the consent calendar?
I'll move approval.
A second.
A roll call, please, Terry.
Eniko Gold,
Aye.
Dennis Weber,
Aye.
Kelly Honig,
Aye.
Alicia Weintraub,
Aye.
President Fair.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously.
Okay, thank you. Okay, we're on to item 5, information items. And Terry, would you like to give a report?
Yes, first I apologize. The second page of my report had to be emailed separately. I guess it got stuck in the scan, but usually the most important things are on the first page. Let's just speaking of pages. Okay, as all of you know, the COG President Fair appointed a ad hoc committee on broadband back in August, and the committee has continued to meet to propose the broadband project. And I presented the item to the TAC, and then subsequently at the Westlake Village and Calabasas City Council meetings last week, which I appreciated that opportunity. And it's on the agenda today for your consideration. I don't think I really need to go into the Campus Kilpatrick status. There's been no change from the county that I've been made aware of. And the item that I really want to highlight that I raised with the city managers at the TAC meeting was that we finally received a letter from the California JPIA indicating that we did have an outstanding balance. If you'll recall, it's something that I note in the budget every year, and we've kind of kicked the can down the road because we haven't had any type of communication from the California JPIA over the past few years that they are serious about collecting any outstanding balance. Well, that finally happened, and I had a conversation with them and then briefed the city managers on the $33,000 outstanding balance. If you recall, the COG participated in the California Joint Powers Insurance Authority for about 6 years, and the cost of the insurance continued to go up dramatically, and that when it got to $11,000 a year, that's when we pulled the plug and withdrew. But unfortunately, during our time in the JPIA, which they used to call their insurance pools, and now they call risk-sharing pools, and I understand why. There were 2 large claims that required a significant payout, and that's even though the COG didn't have any incidents or any claims, because we were in that risk sharing pool, we accumulated the outstanding liability. So I'll be working with the city managers after the first of the year to determine whether or not we're going to do it in 3 installments, which is what's been offered, or paying it all at once in order to get a 10% discount. So the city managers agreed to revisit it in January, and that way we could determine the best way to proceed.
Okay. Thank you, Terry.
That concludes my report.
Okay. And could I just mention Homeless Connect Day, which is in your report? I just want to thank everybody who participated, and I'm sorry I was unable to, and I really have appreciated the opportunity to participate in the past.
It's always my second one. I know Alicia's second one, and it was really great. Thank you.
Okay, we will move on to 5B, the Safe Clean Water Program update. Melina Watts.
Hey, good morning, everyone. It's an honor to be here. I'm going to do the share screen thing, so bear with me while I flip over here. And I'm going to go to views to slide. That's it. Nope, that's not it. There we go, slideshow. I knew the word slide was in it. So as you know, the Safe Clean Water Program is a program funded by Measure W for Los Angeles County. And I'm here to share with you some updates to the kind of funding we are trying to bring into or actively are bringing into the community. In particular, we have 2 Measure W applications in the North Santa Monica Bay watershed. The first is the Mulholland Highway Green Improvement Project concept that was put forth by Los Angeles County Department of Public Works. It didn't score as well as we had hoped, so I don't know if that one will receive funding. The next one is a very exciting.
Melina?
Yes?
It's not sharing on to us.
Well, that's really a bummer, and I'm so glad you told me before I kept talking. Let's see if I can.
There we
Okay.
go.
Okay, one more time. Sorry, everyone. And thank you for interjecting before I went much farther. That would have been a bummer. Okay, so here we are. Let me jump forward to where we were visually. Okay, right. So the Mulholland Highway Green Improvement Project did not score that well. So I don't think we're going to get that project to move forward. The next project, I'm extremely proud of the city staff at Westlake Village, because they are the first application in the Measure W process to combine 2 projects into one. So they are applying for an MS4 compliance project that would take 2 different projects and would basically meet 42% of the MS4 permit if they're funded. And because it's a TRP project, they will get a technical advisory team if they win that will help them both design it and apply for it. So cross your fingers. The other thing that's super compelling about it that I also think makes it unique compared to other projects, of the stormwater that they're going to collect, it'll be 5 acre-feet a year, of which 2.5 are going to ultimately go to the Pure Water Project for our drinking water, and 2.5 will remain for the creek. And I think that really speaks to the ethics of our community, that we're also thinking about water supply for the creek as well as for ourselves. There is an integrated regional watershed management application that's coming from a combination of Las Virgenes Municipal Water District, West Basin Municipal Water District, and Water Works District 29. That's going to fund a number of things, but I want to draw to your attention that it will fund 6 small cisterns, 2 of which will go into the community of Las Virgenes, the areas covered by Las Virgenes, 2 in Topanga, and 2 in Calabasas. I know that there's some interest in Calabasas High School as a site. If you're with City of Calabasas, and you want to discuss this with me further, I'm available. I know that Topanga Elementary School is interested in getting one in that community. So we'll see if that works out. I know LAUSD is interested. So those are current applications that are up and coming. So what's next? Metropolitan Water District has an innovation of conservation program, which only goes up to $50,000. However, they pay close attention to the kind of projects that come through this. So we're hoping to convince MWD that those nice little rain barrels that many of you have on your homes are not enough, that we need to size up to cisterns. So we're looking at installing a cistern with the LAUSD at Topanga Elementary School. I'm currently working on a potential application with them. If there were an applicant for Malibu High School, I know there's some interest there. Santa Monica Malibu Unified School District has said they're kind of overwhelmed and don't want to take it on unless they have an outside partner. If your city or agency would like help applying for this program, I'm definitely available to help you do so. I want to talk to you about something super compelling, and I don't know if you can see it on my screen, but there's this really cool nonprofit called Accelerate Resilience LA, which is founded by Andy Lipkiss, funded by the Rockefeller Foundation. And they are doing a study that is going to look at, is it possible to use cisterns on a parcel by parcel basis across an entire watershed and get enough water supply to help us work our way out of the drought? The short answer to that is yes, it is possible. The long answer to that is, unless we can convince MWD and other water agencies and DWR that the money pencils out for this, it isn't possible. So Accelerate Resilience LA has put together this study that's looking at the area covered by Las Virgenes Municipal Water District, Long Beach, and the Upper San Gabriel River. That's 3 separate areas on a parcel by parcel basis, looking to see where would a cistern fit on a property potentially, how much water would it gather, and how much would it cost. And when that's finally done, we'll be able to open up the conversation to DWR and MWD. Is this an alternative that makes sense for us? As a comparison, Bermuda, all 72 islands are all covered entirely with cisterns on a house by house basis. That is in fact how they supply water for their community. So here are the project partners for the ARLA study: One Water, American Rivers, Water Now Alliance, Nature Conservancy, Craft Water, and you can't see it because it's behind the nice pictures of us here. The RCD of the Santa Monica Mountains is another partner. We expect that study to come out in the early spring. And what's super compelling is this might be the tool that we need to get a Measure W application that would allow us to start funding cisterns in our community. In particular, I want to share with you Madeline Glickfeld, who is the vice chair of the North Santa Monica Bay Watershed Advisory Steering Committee, and who has also historically been the president of the Los Angeles Regional Water Quality Control Board, is advocating that we consider building, with Measure W funding, a series of large underground cisterns on public property that would gather the most water possible in our community. So that study, the study that I'm telling you about, is going to help us pinpoint where those locations are. So I want to open the conversation with city staff, with city council, with the larger community. If we start finding these cistern sites, do we want to pursue funding for this? Do we want to have local water supply that will be reliable, that will be driven by rainstorm events, where we have the ability to capture the large amounts that come through quickly? So there's another opportunity to fund some of these cisterns. There's the 2022 Urban Community Drought Relief Funding grant coming in from DWR. And I'm looking at doing an Accelerated Resilience LA and Resource Conservation District of the Santa Monica Mountains application for this. This would fund what we are calling a specifically sized cistern for our community. We're calling them watersheds for the watershed. Now you might ask, why are we calling it a watershed? The reason is, if you are building in the Santa Monica Mountains and you are dealing with coastal and all of these issues, the only size that you can build without triggering massive permitting, and those of you who've been through Woolsey fire rebuilds know what I'm talking about, is if you build something with a 120-foot square base. So these cisterns would be sized for 120 square foot base. And you could do several of those in a row and have multiple sheds that are cisterns sized for a shed, and get water that would basically allow you to irrigate off of stormwater. So for Measure W for next year, for 2023, the big dream is a multi-city, multi-agency application. We would be the first watershed in Los Angeles County to partner together in this way. But honestly, we have an incredible tradition in our community of doing partnership grant applications to get what we want to happen, because we have this ability to talk to each other and figure out what we want and work together. So this would be what I'm calling the Madeline Project, where we do a series of large underground cisterns where we'd figure out where are the best locations for these. Are they Calabasas, Malibu? We're still working on that. If your city, agency, or community wants in, they need to talk to me because the time will be soon. We need to look at this ARLA study as soon as it comes in and figure out where our best sites are. In the meanwhile, a letter of interest for consideration that you would like to be included in an application, if it works for your city, would be super helpful. The literally $3 million question, and who is the project lead? And the reason that's important is when you're doing a multi-city, multi-agency application, you have to have one person or one entity or one city or agency to manage the application. So this is an answer that you guys will have to tell me ultimately. I know that historically Las Virgenes has stepped up to the plate for a lot of this. They have told me that they are so busy with the Pure Water Project, and they're so busy with the drought that this is one thing they can't do. So maybe it's a West Basin application, or maybe it's even an ARLA application where they would do it for us. But this would be, the goal is to get this together. The last thing I want to share with you is the Bipartisan Infrastructure Law, which is, President Biden's big showcase piece of legislation, is potentially millions or billions of dollars for LA County. And TJ Moon from Los Angeles County Department of Public Works has been assigned by LA County as a sustainability lead, and this is his baby. And he has said the more cities and agencies that give projects to his group application, the better shot we have at getting a really big chunk of change. So if you guys have big projects that are related to anything climate change-ish, or anything homeless people related-ish, or transit or water, this is our chance. So I just want to make sure that we're all aware of it and working together on it. And that is all I have for the moment. I do want to share with you, I have a really compelling event coming up. I'm going to drop it in the links on the side, which is saying that on November 17th, we're doing a conference where we will look at nature-based solution success stories. And I have an incredibly compelling array of speakers coming. I'd love to have you guys join me. That afternoon, we'll look at creek restoration sites in Agoura Hills and Calabasas, of which we're all abundantly proud. And then this is really interesting, you guys, is on that Friday, November 18th, we're doing a tour of Santa Barbara. You may ask, why do I want to go to Santa Barbara? I'm busy. Well, the answer is their creeks division is funded to $2 to $3 million a year to do creek restoration. So they're addressing the same water quality problems that we have by creek restoration, which I know is something our community's always cared about. So it's from 10 till 3. I have 42 seats. You can bring a spouse, you can bring a polite kid. I'm flexible, but I want to have the people who make decisions to come and check out what's happening in Santa Barbara, because I see their approach to partnering with Public Works, partnering with flood control to do creek restoration, to restore water quality, is something that is identical to everything I've always heard leadership in Santa Monica Mountains say they care about. So I'll drop that link in, I'll drop my email in, and I'm up for questions. Thank you so much for taking the time with me this morning.
Thank you, Melina. Well, I found that very exciting. I've made a lot of notes. Anybody have any questions or comments?
Well,
Okay.
I do hope you'll join me for these conferences and this tour, because I think it's some game-changing information and conversations. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay, we are moving on to item 5C, city reports on COVID. I see we're going in alphabetical order, I assume. Agoura Hills.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. On the COVID front, not too much to report. I think everybody saw the governor's order that the emergency, state of emergency will end in February. So we will continue to evaluate that. All our meetings are in person. We're still offering Zoom opportunities though, and I anticipate we'll continue doing that even after the state of emergency is closed out. On a side note, one of our events coming up, we have our 40th anniversary celebration this Sunday, and it'll be at our Recreation and Event Center, and that will be from 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. So everyone's invited. If you can join us, we'd love to have you. And with that, Dennis, if there's anything else you want to add, that'll complete my report.
No, that's it, Nate. It's always nice to be and see everybody here. And I'm standing in for Chris Anstead today. He's traveling for work. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Next up, Calabasas.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good morning, everybody. It's a pleasure to be with you. In regards to COVID, we had a few cases last month. I think just around our last meeting, it didn't require, because it was in multiple facilities and different departments, it didn't require any closure of city services or city operations. And we were able to see those dissipate really quickly. We did have our first in-person meeting on October 12th, and it was good to be with everybody. Just as a side note, I've been with the city for 1.5 years, and it was the first time I sat on the dais with my council members. So it was and in closed session with them. So it was good to have that experience. And then also this last weekend, we had our Pumpkin Festival, over about 6,500 attendees. Wonderful event, just good reviews from the community so far. And so we thank those of you who were able to join us and participate in that event. Alicia, anything else?
Yeah, I just wanted to add our in-person council meeting was a hybrid meeting. So it was great. We had one council member who was traveling for business who was able to call in, and members of the public, most of them called in as well. So it worked out really great for us.
Okay, thank you. Hidden Hills.
Hi, everyone. Good morning. As relates to COVID, same status as the previous two cities. We've transitioned to hybrid meetings. We've had a couple. They've been working out great. The only other thing to add is we had our fall festival. Ours is called Fiesta. It was 2 weekends ago. Greatly attended, big numbers, probably what all the other cities are seeing. And it was just always good to be with everyone. So that's all I have. And nice to see everyone this morning.
Okay, thank you. All right, Malibu, Steve.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you, President Fair. On the COVID front, we actually have a few cases in City Hall right now. So just a reminder, obviously, that it is still going around. It is still hitting folks, but nothing widespread. So that's fortunate. On council meetings, we continue to meet remotely. We will be coming back in January once the new council is seated and asking if they want to return to person. And of course, with the governor's announcement, I think that kind of, pretty much we know where we're going to have to go with that pretty soon here. So I think that's all that I have to report this morning. Karen, anything for you?
No, nothing to add. Thank you. Thanks, Steve.
Thank you.
Okay, Westlake Village.
Hi, good morning, everyone. Good to see you all. Very similar report from all the cities, I think, today. COVID, no changes really. Westlake Village, we still meet in person with the full council. We don't really do the hybrid. We have all the council members there and staff there, but we allow the public and consultants to Zoom in and call in, and that's been working out really well. Our committees, though, are still on Zoom. That's a real convenience. So we're trying to keep that going as long as we can. All the staff and our partners are healthy. So touch wood, we haven't had anyone getting sick recently. And the other thing, of course, we had our big event this weekend, City Celebration. It's one of our biggest events we do every year. It's on Saturday. Great turnout, really, really fun great to see all the families and kids enjoying Westlake Village. So that was pretty nice. And then just other things that we're working on. We do have Jackie Irwin, Representative Irwin, coming to visit with us at our next council meeting. We'll have a study session with her just on state legislation, which will be interesting. So that's next week. And this Friday, we're hosting the Leadership Conejo class, and it's a local government day for them. And they come to Westlake Village and we do sort of a presentation on all things local government. So we're looking forward to meeting with the class. So that's just a few things from Westlake Village, but maybe Kelly or Ray has something to add.
No, I don't. Thanks.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you, everybody. All right, moving on to item 6, our agency partner updates. First up, LA County Sheriff.
Hi, good morning, everybody. I'm doing this on my cell phone because the station our phones are down and our data's down. So we are working to get that fixed right now. So I will probably be a little bit behind in responding to any emails, but hopefully we'll be back up and running soon. We have a meeting today with the school. We're attending the school board meeting. This will be our official introducing the sergeant, the J team sergeant, and the entire J team to the public. We finished with the J team. We finished all of our walkthroughs with all of our public schools. And so imagine how many public schools we have in our community. And we finished all of them. And now we're working on our private schools. Last week we did Oaks, and I think the week before we did Viewpoint. We had a meeting with Beverly Hills Police Department, the city managers and I and my commander. We all went to Beverly Hills to kind of look at the different ways Beverly Hills is doing their police work, and if there's any anything that we can bring back to our community. Really, Beverly Hills is on the cutting edge of policing, so we wanted to go down there and look and see if there's any best practices. We have a meeting on Friday with my fire partner, Drew Smith, and OEM, Kevin McCown. So we are meeting here on Friday. One, to just kind of touch base, keep that friendship and relationship going, and also kind of looking at some different models that I'm sure Drew will discuss at a later time. And some of you know that we had an increase of burglaries this weekend. So we had 4 burglaries, and it's very concerning to me. We are still well below our residential stats for 2019. So prior to COVID, we're still below those, but I don't ever want to rise above them. So I met with a major crimes bureau. I met with our crime analyst bureau. We are putting together our short-term strategies and our long-term strategies and coming up with some ideas of how we can decrease the amount of residential burgs we're having in our area. Also got to attend, last 2 weekends have been really, really busy. Got to attend Fiesta Days and Reyes Adobe Days, and that was a great time, and my family came out, so it was really fun to work but also be with my family. And then last weekend went to Westlake Village in Calabasas and just had an absolutely wonderful time connecting with the community. So any questions for Malibu Lost Hills?
I do have one question, but I think I know the answer. When you said you attended a school board meeting, could I ask which school board that was?
My apology, Karen. So tonight I will be at the Las Virgenes School Board meeting with the J team. My apology for that.
Thank you. Okay.
I have a question.
Any questions?
President Ferrer, if I may, sorry. Captain C2, I'd just like to ask you, does the station have fiber internet?
I do not believe so. I'm almost positive we do not. I will get you that information. Thank you for asking that, but I do not believe we ever went with fiber. But I'll get that answer. I'll circle back with you, Eniko, and get you that answer today.
Thank you so much. And if you don't, I hope we can get it to you at one point.
Thank
So you
you.
have reliable internet, and if you have your phones based on internet connection, that we should make sure we should work together to get that to you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Captain C2. Moving on to item 5B, LA County Fire, Chief Smith.
Yes, good morning. So your fire family is doing good, and I'll just couple on to what Captain C2 has mentioned. We are doing great with the two organizations. We are lockstep in all the preparedness and future disasters, if you will. Our organizations share the information. I know that we're getting into our prime wildland season. I give you the outlook, which is that we're anticipated to have slightly above normal temperatures. Our rainfall through the outlook is supposedly going to be delayed, but we are at normal or forecasted to be somewhat below normal on the frequencies of our wind events, and those are those Santa Ana winds. But just knowing that on average, we issue during October through Christmas 8 red flags. And so it only takes one. So we know that we're going to come into our windy season. So we monitor that. We share that information with our partners, that being, of course, the Sheriff's Department, and also our fire agencies and those cooperating agencies for that relative risk every day. So we have the adequate response and pre-fire staffing from fire and law. And so we're looking in at targeting that every day as that relative risk comes out. Also, I wanted to say thank you for all the invites for all the community festivities that are going on. We enjoy doing those. And so thank you for the invites. We're very happy about those, with the interaction that we have with the cities and all the people that live and like to visit them. So thank you for that. And we have had some pretty challenging emergencies within the area, that from being traffic collisions, using helicopters, from wildland fires. And so I just wanted to reiterate the messaging and how that information is distributed. And I've talked to it before, is that give us some time to stabilize the incident, get the valid information, that it can get distributed through Megan Courier. And our intent with fire and law is to send out a unified message. So what we are asking is please don't play good parent and bad parent to get the information. If you think you are not getting what you need, it's not because we don't want to, it's because we want to give out the updates and the validity of what's going on behind an emergency. And so there's different distribution groups on how it works based upon the nature of the emergency. So Captain C2 and I talked about getting all of the cities together to have a workshop so we can vet out on how that information needs to be distributed with a unified message from law and fire. And with that, I'll kick it over to Megan Courier.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks, Chief Smith. Like Chief Smith and Captain C2 said, we had fun at all the city events over the past couple of weekends. We had a lot of great contacts with the residents and met a lot of people and had a great time. So we were happy to be out there, and like the turnout, as everyone said, was really great and surprising, but how many people were actually out there. And then one of the other things that we are currently working on is the evacuation zones. These are going to be made public on October 24th, which is next Monday. We had a meeting last week, fire law and OEM, with the city managers and staff to kind of just go over the whole concept of the evacuation zones. And then yesterday we met again with the communication staff from each city to kind of coordinate our joint messaging and make sure that we all send out the same press release on Monday and just coordinate our joint regional announcement. So yeah, that will be live on the 24th, and it's going to be an important planning tool for not only the emergency management agencies, but the residents themselves. So there will be more to come on that. There is a CERT class currently ongoing with Agoura Hills and Westlake Village residents. There's about 20 people in that class. They're in their third session, I believe, tonight. And we also have a few more of the NOAA weather radio distributions coming up, and those will be, I'll send out those dates once we have them confirmed. And that is all I have for today.
Okay, great. Thank you both. Okay, item
Any
6.
questions for us?
Excuse me.
Any questions for us?
Okay, thank you both so much.
Great, thank you.
6D, updates from legislative staff and agency partners. I see there's a pretty long report from SCAG. But who's up next? Jeff? Oh, sorry, Jeff, I skipped 6C. Excuse me.
That's all right. I was just like, I skipped? Yeah. No, that's
sorry
fine.
about that.
It's early in the morning. Good morning, everyone. Jeff Kiernan with Cal Cities. I am going to drop a few links in the chat of just some of the things I want to chat about. First up is we have our Cal Cities member survey. This is what we're using to compile survey of our members so we can look at what is really important to everyone, so we know what we should be focusing on this year. That survey is only open till the end of the day, so if you haven't filled it out yet, please do take advantage for those of you who are Cal Cities members. And then, as I think Steve mentioned, the governor did announce last night that he is going to end the COVID emergency on the end of February of next year. So we need to sort of start making plans for going back to in-person. Obviously, we do have that bill that was signed this year that does allow city councils to make certain decisions. I need to get it that allows some members to participate virtually. I need to get a refresher on that bill just to make sure exactly how that goes. I'm sure we all probably do, but that does give you a little bit of breathing room for anyone who might fall ill or be exposed to COVID or at something else. So wanted to make mention of that. I also linked an article from the Santa Monica Mirror in here. This is an article about nearly 4,000 units which were approved based on the fact that Santa Monica did not have an approved housing element. Actually, Santa Monica has, this was just all happened last week, but their housing element has since been approved by HCD. But they still have to sort of deal with this request for all of these units that are just basically automatically approved because of the law. So I wanted to make mention of that because there are a couple of COG cities who still haven't received an approved housing element. 25 cities in total here in LA County who are still out of compliance. So I just wanted to give that cautionary tale that developers are looking at using some of these laws to streamline some of their projects. So I just wanted to make mention of those couple things. Also, obviously, it's the first time I've had a chance to see all of you since we are now done with the legislative session. Couple of big bills got signed. We did get the Care Court signed. Cal Cities was instrumental in getting amendments to that, which helped to really define a city's role. There was also some behavioral health packages. Initially, we had supported 8 bills in the behavioral health, mental health space. Only 3 of them ended up getting signed. 1 did get vetoed after it was passed. So we are going to be hopefully continuing to make progress on this homeless problem and trying to get folks housed. So on the housing and sort of zoning space, there was obviously AB 2011 and SB 6. Those were the big bills that Cal Cities opposed and was trying to get amendments or halt in the process. Those now streamline projects in many areas. They do also impact parking for those projects if they're within half a mile of transit. Of course, there was another big bill, AB 1685, that also is essentially a transit-oriented development bill that eliminates parking minimums within a half mile of transit. So there is going to be a lot of focus on the parking as we move forward with development, just to really leaning on developers trying to make sure that they get enough parking in there for the residents, the commercial properties that might be in these spaces. And it's just something we're really going to have to work with the developers on, since they now essentially have the control about how many parking spaces in a lot of these projects that are near transit. Other than that, we had a couple successes with a manufacturing tax credit that would have halted or exempted manufacturing from local sales taxes. The governor actually agreed with Cal Cities on that and vetoed the measure, saying it was just too expensive, and we didn't want to continue to push financial burdens onto cities. So that was, the message was nice, but the one veto out of the many that we had requested, we wish we would have seen more. Other than that, I think I can just take some questions, and certainly we're working on focusing on trying to our policy committees for the next year, and also trying to see what we really should focus on. So please take that survey if you haven't.
Thank you, Jeff. Anybody, any questions? Okay.
Thank you, everyone.
Appreciate it. All right, now 6D, updates from legislative staff and agency partners. Terry, is that just the written report? Do we have anyone here? You're muted.
We do have Andrew Thomas from Southern California Edison. I'd like to thank Kindon at the last meeting brought to my attention that Andrew was the new representative or liaison for the area, taking over for Rudy. And so I had an opportunity to have a nice visit with him and get acquainted and understand his role. And so that was really great. So Andrew, I'll turn it over to you.
Well, good morning. If you can hear me okay, I'll just say a quick greeting. Obviously, as Terry mentioned, new in the role, but happily several of the names and the cities are persons and cities I've been engaged with, and hopefully, addressing issues and working on collaboration, which is obviously the nature of what I'm here for. So I'll just share a couple of things, which I will spare you the carpal tunnel and send it out as emails to you. Some of them are good information that hopefully you can guys distribute through your cities. First and foremost, Edison has continuously works on supporting its communities, and one new way is our Edison Scholars Program. It's a scholarship program for high school seniors. They must live in an Edison serviced area, but it has been increased from $50,000 scholarships, $40,000 scholarships to $50,000 scholarships. So that application portal opened on October 3rd, and it'll run through December the 9th. I found out that there has not been an Edison scholar from the area that I now cover. And so I would love to change that and have one of our young scholars, of which your cities have many, participate. So I'll get that information out. It's not onerous. Live in the Edison city, have a 3.0. Plan to study a STEM field degree, which now increased to include cybersecurity and data analytics. The program also has a summer paid internship for those persons who finished their first year of college. So there's a lot of great things to it. And once again, I think it's about information rather than qualifications, because we have a lot of qualified high school persons. There'll be 30 winners. And last year they had 450 applicants. So you can do the math and kind of figure that's not too bad a ratio considering how many scholarships get inundated with applications. Secondly, I'll send out information on our backup battery program for medical baseline patients. We have softened some of the restrictions so that more patients and more persons can benefit from those backup battery going into what we call PSPS seasons. So I'll share that as a flyer that you can distribute. We have them printed in English or have them available in English and Spanish. We have other language availability. So we obviously want to speak to the entirety of all our communities. I engaged some cities about some efforts that are going on in the city. One thing that some cities have found helpful is a site called Capital Improvements, SEC.Capital Improvements, which shows where There are pole replacements. We're showing where there's going to be underground improvements going on. So it's a site that's open to every city, where you can go in, put your city, and it'll zoom in and have a color-coded legend so you can actually see what actions are going to be taking place in your city. This is a constantly available tool beyond me coming in and sharing updates, which I know some of the cities are seeking out. And then in conjunction with that tool I just mentioned, Edison continuously has virtual workshops. Many of you are involved in your PSPS partner portal, where you can go in and get information in those areas. We have regular workshops. So if you want to come on and say, I have a new person who I want to be trained on this, using this tool, or I just have questions, they can come on and get information. So that can be a regular available support. We know we're coming into PSPS season, and luckily the winds, as I look out the window, haven't been torrid as of yet, but we know that we have to be prepared, and when they're not blowing, we're preparing for them to blow. And so we're definitely pleased with the little bit of moisture that we've gained, because obviously it's not only winds but the moisture on the ground, and so we're seeing some improvements in measuring those areas, and we'll continue to do so. Finally, trying to be engaged in the cities. I have been invited to some of the same activities that others are going to, as far as the Hidden Hills Fiesta Days and others that are going on. I am engaged and involved in the Leadership Caneo program, so I thank the Caneo Chamber for putting that on. And not only is it development for me, but I'm meeting a lot of people from your cities who will turn into network connections that I think can help improve my efficiencies and the efforts that the cities are putting on. So looking forward to speaking with more of you. I know there's also some conferences that are coming up. We just had Cal Cities, we just had some of the others take place. So Edison or myself will be involved in those. And please come by our tables at any of the conferences that are coming up to share information, updates, also learning information from us. With that, Terry, I thank you for reaching out, and the offer for free tattoo services. I will continue to consider those in places that only I can see. So thank you so much. Open.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Andrew.
Thank you.
And Terry, apparently. Okay, let us move on. It's now 9:17 a.m. Are there any other legislative or agency partners?
No, I would like to thank Rachel Wagner from SCAG, though, and she's on the line, but for providing the written update that I can include in the report. I think that works well. Thanks, Rachel.
Yeah, thank you, Rachel. Okay, item 7A, Measure M, 9th year project list.
Yes, so as all of you know, we continue to work on our Measure M project list every year. And just to give you a little background, I began working with the COG cities and Metro, usually around March or April. We hold a kickoff meeting. And then I continue to work with the cities over the course of the summer to kind of fine tune and figure out which projects they want to move forward with. And then we look at the annual allocation that Metro provides the COG for Measure M funding, which is included in the report. And generally speaking, as we've done over the years, each city submits project or projects that are included in our list. And this is the first year that the COG would be proposing a regional project. And that's something that kind of began, as all of you will recall, back in June, when Rob and Philippe from Westlake and I met with South Bay COG to talk about their regional broadband project that they moved forward with, got approved from Metro and moved forward with. And then over the course of the summer, we had subsequent meetings and presentations to the city managers at the TAC meeting and the governing board with regard to the South Bay COG broadband project. and it was determined that the COG should explore the opportunity to have its own broadband project and use Measure M funds to fund that project. And therefore, we've gotten to the point, as I mentioned earlier in my executive director's report, that I made a presentation this week, or excuse me, last week, to Westlake Village and to Calabasas at their city council meetings to discuss the regional project that the COG is considering. And that's what is before you in my draft Measure M 9th year project list, which is the it's for fiscal year 25-26 in metro funding. And I can highlight the project list. Basically, Agoura Hills has the 3.2 million. The items up until the 9th year, but items 1 through 4 in Agoura Hills is basically reallocating project funds that won't change any funding amounts as far as how the cities get allocated, but it's internally within Agoura Hills for their projects. And the 9th year, they are proposing the allocating 1 million to the regional smart cities fiber network, and then 2.2 million to the Canaan Agoura intersection project. And then Calabasas would be proposing in the first year to allocate all of their funding for the regional smart cities fiber network. You might know that rather than calling it just a broadband project, I tried to give it a title that would resonate with Metro and kind of describe what we're doing a little better. Same with Hidden Hills with their annual allocation. As was discussed at the TAC meeting and in my subsequent discussions with President Fair, Malibu has decided not to participate in phase 1 of the project. However, they may participate in subsequent years in phase 2, but Malibu's approximately $2 million allocation is designated for 2 projects. The main one is the pedestrian undercrossing for 1.6 million in the 9th year. As all of us know, Malibu continues to focus on pedestrian safety on Pacific Coast Highway and with their project allocations, and they've determined that that's in the best interest of their community to move forward in that direction. And then, of course, we have the Westlake Village project joining in at 1.3 million for the first year, and then LA County's allocation. I had, as I previously reported, a really good meeting with Tessa Charnovsky and Madeline Moore from Sheila Kuehl's office about broadband in Topanga, and as part of the state middle mile project, but the county has indicated their support for the broadband project, which was very encouraging. So that's where we are with the Measure M project list. The one other thing that came up at the Calabasas City Council meeting that I really didn't have answers for, Mayor Pro Tem Shapiro asked me about the problems that Beverly Hills is having with their broadband project. And I guess there was an article in the paper. I subsequently read an article. I'm not sure if it was the same article, but I did a little digging and found out that number one, Beverly Hills already has a broadband fiber loop through their city that connects their city hall and police department and other city facilities. So, and that's obviously what we're hoping to do. And number two, the the problem that generated the newspaper articles and some consternation has to do with Beverly Hills's efforts to expand that broadband from that loop into residential and commercial and other commercial areas. And I guess, and I'm not directing this at Southern California Edison, I mentioned it to Andrew, but it sounds like from the information that I obtained that Beverly Hills and Edison are negotiating, if you will, over easements and what can go in specific easements. And if something can't go in an easement, then it's going to increase the cost. And so it appears to be related to that, creating one of the problems. And number two, of course, this is common to everything that we've had for the past 2.5 years. COVID is affecting production of some of their materials that are needed to go into this project. And as a result of that, they've experienced delays and increased costs. So I think that we have a working design estimate for this project at 16 million if we were to do all 5 cities, 12 million if we did not include Malibu in phase 1. So I believe that that we're in good shape right now. Hopefully, you know, we're not going to have any more delays with COVID or anything else, but my crystal ball is not working like that. So I'm hoping that we continue to move forward. And my plan is, if the Measure M 9th year project funding as presented is approved, that I would be working closely with Metro over the next couple of months to fine tune which years and how much years exactly we need for the project. As we all know, we just have estimates at this point, but Metro has indicated that we may want to only allocate a certain amount in 1 year and then an additional amount in the second year. And so there's some unknowns at this point, but I don't think that they're enough to not move forward with the project. It's just going to be kind of massaging it through the process in the negotiations that are normal. And I'm very confident that that we can move forward with this project as we get to this point with all of our cities, that we have a regional broadband project that connects not only city halls and city facilities, but fire and sheriff, in order to improve public safety and address regional traffic congestion. And that concludes my report.
Thank you very much, Terry. Do we have any questions? Yes, Eniko.
Thank you, President Fair. I just like to make a comment. I wanted to thank Terry for the report, and I also wanted to thank you to make sure that we include fire and the sheriff station, so they have reliable internet. So in a case of an emergency, they'll be able to respond. That's so important. So I wanted to thank you for that.
Okay, Terry, do you need a motion? Do we need a motion here?
I do need a motion to approve the Measure M 9th year project list.
Okay, would someone like to make that motion?
Yeah, I'll do it. I move for the Council of Governments to approve the Measure M project list as described by our executive director moments ago.
I second.
Kelly. Okay, we have a motion and a second. Terry, would you take the roll, please?
Yes. Eniko Gold.
Aye.
Dennis Weber.
Where's Dennis?
I know he had to, he said he was multitasking. He had to do something with the bank while he was participating in our meeting. So let's.
Should we continue the roll and circle back?
Yes. Kelly Honig.
Aye.
Alicia Weintraub.
Aye.
And let me try and contact Dennis. But the motion would be approved 4-0 with Dennis being absent or not voting.
And I'm also an aye.
I'm sorry, Karen.
That's okay. Okay.
I have a question. Will that be an issue that nobody from Agoura voted on this?
No. I mean, I don't see it as an issue. I mean, it would be, it's approved by the COG and our, let me see, you want me to try? Nate, are you trying to text Dennis or you want me to?
I am. I apologize. I think he lost connection when he was hopping back and forth. So I'm trying to get a hold.
Okay.
We all need fiber internet.
Well, we do have a 4-0 vote at the moment. If Dennis can weigh in, that would be ideal, but we do have a passed motion here.
Okay. I'll try and work with Nate to get that before the meeting's concluded.
Thank you. All right. Item 7B. We have agreed to revisit this item each month. So Terry?
Yes, as was mentioned earlier, the governor's emergency or state of emergency will conclude in February. So at between now and then, we'll have to make it. Sorry.
It's okay.
Okay.
We'll have to make a determination as to when the governing board goes back into in-person meetings or in-person/hybrid. I'm not sure if you're ready, if the board's ready to do that today, or if they want to. We have a meeting in November. Generally, we don't have a meeting in December, and then we would have a meeting in January. So I guess we could wait until the January meeting just prior to the expiration of the state of emergency.
That sounds good to me. Does anybody have any comment about that?
No, I think that's what we should do, because we need to discuss who's next up. It's Calabasas, correct? As to take over the president's position.
Hidden Hills, isn't it?
Is it
Eniko?
Hidden Hills?
Yeah, it would be
it's
Hidden Hills.
Okay. Because we should discuss, the issue is the location. I mean, that we've always had issues with Malibu, which is why we always skipped you in Malibu until this time, until COVID. That was one advantage of COVID. I'd like to resolve that issue. I don't necessarily think that, we have to meet in the location of whoever's the presiding board member. So maybe we can, talk amongst ourselves before January, but I say we postpone this decision until January. My main reason for saying that is after 2 years of not driving around and having it be actually no problem at all, I don't want to resume that situation for our agency partners, for Terry. It's less impactful for the board members since we're here, well, except for Karen. But, I just think that we should, sorry, that's of course, my landline telemarketers. I think we need to discuss it. So let's postpone the discussion until we come up with a solution, possibly, some alternate or neutral location that's easy to get to, like maybe Agoura. I don't know. We'll see. Okay.
Thank you, Kelly. And for what it's worth, I agree. I don't think it's important. It's not a hospitality contest. I think the most important thing is that everybody meet. And I will remind everybody, Kelly found us what I thought was a great location at the Las Virgenes Water District. And that looked like a go until we were told that they have their meeting at the exact time, third Tuesday of the month.
Which they never
at
told.
8:30 in the morning, which precluded the COG from using the water district. So I'm sure you all will find some great resolution to that sometime soon. So let's move on. Agenda item number 8, general comments and requests for future agenda items. Anybody? Okay.
So
no
we're not going to have a meeting in December. That's that's the normal process unless something happens and we would request a meeting, but that's the general process.
That's been customary, yes, Terry?
Yes, it's always been difficult with everything going on, trying to get a quorum in December, especially on the third Tuesday.
Yes. Yes, okay. So, all right then, agenda item 9, future meeting dates. The TAC will be meeting November 2nd, and the next governing board meeting is November 15th, which will be my last meeting. And I have really enjoyed working with all of you.
Thank you, Karen. Same. We'll miss
Appreciate
you.
your leadership.
Thank you. Okay, so I think that's it. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
Move to adjourn.
Excuse me, one moment. Sorry to jump in here. Just please look in the notes. About Pepperdine's Calabasas campus. I'm not sure where that is even.
Me either.
It's on Agoura Road.
Okay, well, thank you, Andrew. That's something that perhaps Terry, would you like to look into that?
Yeah, I'll follow up with Andrew and check on that. That might be a good site.
Okay,
And
thank
I
you.
see Dennis is back on.
Oh, yeah.
Should we try to get his vote? Do you all mind taking a
What
minute
do you
with
want me to
that?
vote on?
Okay, we had
Usually
the,
on the city council meeting, it's 4-1 or 3-2, and it's usually me in the minority. So what do you want me to do?
okay, so this is, if you look at your agenda, it's agenda item 7A. And
Oh, yes, yes,
4 of us
yes.
approved the Measure M 9th year project list as described in this agenda.
Yes, yes, I remember. That's, that would be affirmative, yes.
Okay, so
Thank you.
unanimous. All right, so back to Kelly's motion to adjourn. Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, Terry, would you take the roll, please?
Eniko Gold,
Aye.
Dennis Weber,
Aye.
Kelly Honig,
Aye.
Alicia Weintraub,
Aye.
President Fair.
Aye. Okay, thank you, everybody. We are adjourned at 9:38 a.m. Have a great day.
Thank you, everybody.